Hi, welcome to video number 3 of the Intro to Pilates series. Okay, so this video is more of a flow. It's more of a sequence. There's a little bit more speed to it, a little bit more coordination and balance. We don't really repeat many of the other exercises that we've done in video number 1 and 2. So if you haven't done those videos, please head back and watch those in sequence because they really talk about the foundation of Pilates, the basic principles, everything that you need in order to do this video. The exercises in Pilates, when you look at them, are super easy. What makes them difficult is the mind-body connection, is really honing in on those basic principles that I talked about in video 1 and 2. So whenever something seems a little too easy, just go back to those foundational principles. Your breath, your pelvic stability, where's your rib cage, where are your shoulders, where's your neck? Are you pooching anything? Is everything being lengthened? Are all of your muscles active at the same time? Is there anything that's not active? Are you stabilizing before you move? Are you initiating your exercises with purpose? So there's a lot to think about. And each time you do your practice, you can think of just one principle and work on that principle the whole time until you really feel comfortable with it. And then you can add another principle on top of it. So it's really what works for you. It's your own practice. Notice that I'm using the word practice. I don't really consider these workouts. This is a place to really work on your skills and to get better and to consistently get better each day and really adding on to your skill foundation. Okay, so in case you don't know who I am, my name is Gretchen McCarthy. I'm a certified Pilates instructor. I've been teaching Pilates for the past 15 years, and I wanted to put this sequence together in order for you to go back whenever you want to really hone in on those basic skills of Pilates. All right, so today let's head over to the mat and get going with our sequence. All right, here we go. All right, so I want you to get into the center of your mat. And really, before you practice your Pilates, you really want to bring awareness to your body before you start moving, just so that you can activate all of those little muscles, okay? So let your body get heavy on your mat, relax your arms, and then notice the bony parts of your body, all right? Get the tailbone sealed to the ground. Get your ribs sealed to the ground. Notice where your shoulders are. Really open up your collarbone. Settle those shoulders down. Neck long. Again, remember you can place a pad under your head if you find you're straining your neck too much. And let's just start to breathe here. Take an inhale in through the nose and an exhale out the mouth. Really trying to get the breath to the lower back side of your ribs. Inhale. Open the ribs like an accordion. Keep the abs engaged. And exhale. Place your hands onto that hip area that I talked about in video 1. Take an inhale. And exhale. Tighten up the abdominals. Give them a scoop. Don't change the shape of your spine. Just feel that band of abdominals connect and pull together. Keep that connection. Take an inhale. Relax the shoulders. And then exhale, tighten it. Draw up that pelvic floor. Feel everything engaged and active. Good. From here, we're just going to move the pelvis a little bit. You're going to pull the ribs slightly towards the hips to feel that movement in the pelvis. And then release it back. Make it nice and small. Really feel your abdominals. Sort of pull those hips up towards your ribs. You don't want to jam in where you lose the shape. You're just slightly rocking. And then I want you to find that neutral, really connect to it, really stabilize it. We're going to drag your heel down onto your mat. Drag it so nothing in your pelvis moves. Really elongate the leg. Take an inhale. And then exhale, drag the heel back into place. Again, nothing should move in your pelvis. It shouldn't tilt forward or back or side to side. Inhale, draw the heel down. Exhale, use your abs to pull it back in. Stabilize. Other side. Drag it down. Make sure your standing leg is not reaching out to the sides. Keep it lined up. And then pull it back in. One more time, other side, reach. Make sure you're really stabilizing here, nothing's moving. And hold it here. Now we're gonna tilt the pelvis. Just use your glutes and hamstrings to come up a little bit. It's a little hip roll. And then roll it down. So we're trying to loosen up that low back. Low back's gonna be super tight. Roll with your abs, and then when your abs can't do it anymore, squeeze the seat, squeeze the hamstrings, push into the feet, and then articulate it back down. Really try to get through every vertebrae of that low back. Let's do one more this distance, and make sure you're breathing. Keep the air circulating. We're gonna go up a little further now, and roll it on up. As far as is comfortable for you. So if you have back pain, low back pain, you don't want to come up high. You come up as high as your body can handle, and then articulate it through the spine. Bone by bone, feel the front of your body working hard to keep it tight. And again, roll and lift. Getting that mobility, getting that articulation, and roll it down, making sure your legs don't go out to the sides, making sure they don't pooch inward. Keep them nice and parallel. One more time. I find my exhale really helps lift, and then inhale, I like to open my ribs up here. Feels fabulous. And then roll it on down. And now let's make sure our ribs and shoulders are stable. So you're going to reach the arms up. You're not going to let anything lift. You're going to keep it down on your mat and then reach it around. Palms face each other. Use your breath. You also want to be careful that your shoulders don't start to round forward as you do it. Really keep those bony parts of the shoulders down. Keep your ribs down. Keep your pelvis still. And then circle the other way. So you're only moving the arms, nothing else. Everything else is active. It's engaged. It's squeezing. Good. Now we're going to do a little ab prep. So I want you to lengthen the neck. And then you're just going to come on up. You're going to reach for your heels, and you're not going to let that pelvis roll towards you. You're keeping it still and stable. You're trying to come up as high as you can so you feel no neck tension. And then roll it back down. Again, nod the chin. And then slide the ribs towards the hips as you come up, keeping those hips super steady. And roll it down. Again, nod the chin so you have that walnut space. You come up, keep looking at the top of your knees as you reach. Roll down. You're going to do one more for me. Nod and reach. And now really make your abdominals hold you here without pooching. Take your hands behind your head. Take the weight of your head in those hands and try to come up a little bit further without rocking your pelvis. And give me 10 little pulses. 1, 2, 3. Notice it's your rectus abdominis, that top layer of the abs that pulls the ribs to the hips. Those are your muscles that move the chest towards the hips. 3, ground your tailbone. Hold it up here, get those elbows wider. Weight in your hands even more and try to lift up higher and lower it on down. Good, we're gonna turn to our belly and just prep the spinal extension. If you find that your pelvis feels like it's arching your low back too much here, put a pad under your hip bones, okay? And that will help alleviate the low back tightness, okay? So, and if you need a pad under your forehead here, you can do that as well. Get your legs so they're hip bone distant. Draw your belly in to protect your back. Feel your ribs pulling in, your shoulders back. Now, I want you to find that opposition first, that opposing energy. So from the hips down are reaching to one side of the room. And then from your waist up is reaching the other way. So straight out of that head. Pull your shoulders back and then start to come up using your abs and using your back. Make sure your pubic bone stays down and then lower it down. So it's not about how high you go. You're just reaching the energy in opposition, feeling that. Not too much pressure in those hands. You want to be able to lift them if you needed to. And again, pull, reach, elongate, And then lower it down. Now I want you to take your arms down by your sides. Get the palms to face each other. Pull your shoulders in like you're a dart. And then just come on up, reaching to the heels. Really feel yourself open your chest. So your shoulders are squeezing and reaching down. You're going to come up, and then you're going to lower. And then you're going to do that one more time. Come on up. Lift, lift, lift. And then release it down. Sit back into a shell stretch here, just to release the low back. And then we're going to spin it around, and now we're going to get going with our movement. Now that our warm-up is complete, reaching your arms forward, we're going to go into a half roll back, so get your feet flat in line with your hip bones. And then all you're going to do is pull your belly away from your thighs. You want to feel your pelvis sort of tuck under, so your tailbone shoots forward now. Your tailbone isn't down on the mat. It's tucked under your body. And then you're just going to dive for those legs and do it again. Roll off your butt bones, shoot the pelvis up through your legs, scoop that belly, and then just dive over an imaginary beach ball as you come forward. Again, back. And roll. So that feeling of the low abs wrapping tight like a corset, get it there. Roll it in like you're pulling your two hip bones towards each other. You have your pelvic floor lift. So everything is like lifting as well as scooping. Now let's hold it back there. Go back and hold it. Really make it all work and relax the shoulders at the same time. From here, we're going to open and close the arms 5 times. 3, 2, and 1, and then roll it forward. Again, roll it back. They should be working at this point, guys. Turn your palms to face each other, and now lift it 5 times. 5, keep your feet planted on the floor. Keep that scoop, protect your low back. 3, 2, we're going to go all the way back on 1. So keep those arms up, keep them back by your ears as much as you can, and roll it on down. From here, take your legs long and flex your feet. We're going to keep our feet about, let's bring them together. Okay? So feel like everything as neutral as possible, so you don't want any tilt of that pelvis. And then reach the arms behind you, and let's come on up, scooping the belly and reaching for your toes. Now, if you had a hard time getting up, try to put a rolled up towel underneath your low back. So when I go down, I'm going to put the towel sort of right here, lie down. And then what's going to happen on the way up, you'll start to come up, you'll use your abs, and right here, that towel will help you push up into a roll up. That's only if you're having trouble, or you can just work your way through these. You can keep doing those half rollbacks. What I don't want you to do is momentum, right? Doing that. That does nothing for you. You really want to feel the articulation. You want to feel every bone hitting that mat. It's all about getting that flexibility as well in the spine. Joseph Pilates always said, you're only as healthy as your spine is. So if your spine is tight and short and you can't move, you got to work to loosen it up. Reach through those heels in opposition. So notice I talk about opposing energy a lot. That's also what's happening. Reach your heels forward as you're coming up, ground them, and stretch it. One more time. Pull it away. Shoot your tailbone forward and up through your legs. And then one more time. Keep those shoulders out of your ears. Good. And then just roll it down again, last time. Okay, so from here, make sure you're still on the center of your mat. The goal for those roll-ups is to not move at all. All right, we're going to do single leg circles. So pull your right thigh in towards your chest and then extend it up towards the ceiling. Now, when you extend it up, come up for a little stretch. And then notice your pelvis. You want to really square it off. So push your thigh into your pelvis, or your thigh into your hands to really square it off, and then lower it down. If you're finding yourself like really struggling to keep your leg up there, bend your supporting leg and really reach that leg straight up. We're going to circle that leg in one direction. So we did circles in that first video. Now it's a little bit more challenging because the leg is straight up towards the ceiling. But the same principle is no movement of that hip, no movement of the pelvis, shoulders relaxed. So your thigh and hip flexor, switch it, your thigh and hip flexor are going to be working, and your abdominals are working to keep your body completely still. And make sure you're breathing. And then relax it down. Other side, extend it up. Get a stretch, push into your hands to really square off that pelvis. And then circle it around. And notice the difference in your sides. One side's going to feel a lot easier than the other. Really extend that leg, get it nice and straight. Make sure your supporting leg isn't rocking and rolling. Keep it nice and parallel and stable. And other side, really keeping your pelvis down, your hips down. No tilting. 2 more. 2 and 1, and relax it down. All right, so from here, really ground your pelvis. Take one leg to tabletop without arching and moving that pelvis. Take your other leg to tabletop. Press those thighs together. And then let's just make sure the abdominals are working. So I want you to come up into flexion. Place your palms right onto your thighs. And then push your thighs into your palms. And push your palms into your thighs. And notice what that does to your abs. So at the same time, you're trying to come up a little higher just to make sure your abs are working. Pull them in, don't let them pooch. And then lower it down. From here, reach your arms forward and then just take one leg in and one leg out. Bring that leg just to a tabletop. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend both legs, drop it down. You're still at tabletop. Hands behind your head with your elbows wide. Lift up the head, neck, and shoulders, and then you're going to cross rib over to hip. Rib over to hip. And as you do that, your shoulder will come over to that knee. 6, pelvis doesn't move. For 3, 2, 1. Drop it down. From here, take your hands behind your head again. Lift up the head, neck, and shoulders. Now really try to keep your head, neck, and shoulders up as high as you can stay stable. And then just reach the legs away from you and bend them back into tabletop. Reach and bend. 6 more. 6. Make sure you're breathing. I don't care which way, whatever helps you stay stable. 3 more. Really try to pick up your upper body. It's going to start to fall. 2 more. 2, 1, and then bend down and rest it in. From here, just take your hands down by your sides, your feet nice and square, and then just roll up the hips. And then articulate it down. Should feel good. One more time, and roll it on up. And then just roll it on down. All right, take one leg to tabletop, stabilize, other leg, and cross the ankles. Now you want to keep your upper body as stress-free as possible. Don't start to hunch those shoulders up. You're going to take the hips to your ribs by pulling the abs in, and then you're going to get a little hip lift with the abdominals, okay? So keep those arms reaching and your shoulders wide. So what's going to start to happen is your shoulders are going to want to curl in to help you with that. Don't let that happen. Keep them wide, keep them relaxed. Make your low abs do it. Your breath will help too. Make sure your head doesn't move. 3 more. 2. 1 more. Good, and relax it down. From here, let's turn to our stomach. All right, so I want you to take your forehead on your hands
And then I want you to bend your legs and take your heels together and then let your knees widen. So your feet are flat to the ceiling and your heels are connected. Your shoulders are down, your abs are in, your elbows are wide. Now I want you to get your pubic bone down, and you'll feel like your two hip bones making contact with the mat as well. I don't want you to arch into that low back, so if you need that pad underneath your hips, go ahead. Now what I want you to do is you're going to take an inhale to prepare into your ribs. Exhale, draw in your abdominals. Stabilize by pulling those hip bones towards each other. And then squeeze your heels to make contact with your seat. Squeeze only as much as you can without getting into that low back. And then release. Exhale, stabilize the abs first. Squeeze the heels. Inhale, you don't want to over squeeze, just enough where you're feeling the butt working, the hamstrings working. This is to bring awareness to how the heels are connected to the seat muscles. And then release it down. Take your legs into parallel. And then what I want you to do is get your pubic bone down, get your abs in, reach your right leg super long out of the hip joint. And then use your seat to lift it up without going into that low back. And then lower it down. Other side, reach and lift it up. Keep moving, keep alternating. We're trying to find space in those hips. Use the seat and hamstring. Other side. Draw the abdominals in. Make the connection in the low abs as well. Because those low abs are stabilizing the pelvis. We don't want that pelvis tilting at all. It stays neutral. Now we're going to try both legs. They're going to reach and lift without arching the pelvis or the low back. I actually find that like a slight little tilt to the pelvis will help you stay out of your low back. A slight little tuck. That slight little tuck won't tuck the pelvis because of what the legs are doing. It's going to be enough to stabilize you. And then lower it down. Now I want you to take your arms down by your sides, drop your nose towards your mat, and I want you to lift the legs and then lift the upper body like you did in the first exercise. Now if this is too much for you, drop your legs down and lower down. And again, lift and lower. Again, lift and lower. Keep your feet down, bring your arms out to the sides like an airplane, just the upper body. Let's lift it up, squeeze your shoulders towards each other, and lower. Working the upper mid-back. 2 more of these. Feel your shoulders pull towards each other and down. Keep your belly ins, keep the low abs working, and then lower it down, push back into your shell stretch. Okay, so from here, we're going to do a little saw. Saw is that twist and spine stretch forward that we did in that first video series. So get your legs so that they're a little bit of a split, sort of as wide as your mat, maybe a little wider depending on what works for you. You don't want to open too much where your legs laterally rotate. All right, you still want to keep them parallel. Bring your arms out to the sides and then lift up super tall. You're going to rotate your chest to one side. Rotate the ribs in the chest, and then you're going to dive towards your pinky toe, and you're going to try to slice off your pinky toe with your pinky finger. Your opposite arm, the palm turns up and reaches up. You're going to pulse 3, 2, 1, and come on up. Your opposite hip should say stay down. Really pull the opposite hip down as you reach forward. And rotate. So you're just putting those two elements together, the twist and the reach, which I talked about in that first video. Pull your toes towards your chest Now, if you can, try to grab that pinky toe and help yourself twist higher. So turn your chest up towards the ceiling and then come on up. And then one more the other side. Reach, try to touch it and open up. And then come to center. Relax, bring your legs in. Lie down on your back. And then you're gonna turn and line up your body with the back of your mat. All right, and remember you're gonna rest your head down on your arm. And then really, we're gonna stay long. We're not gonna pike today. So as you're here, really try to kind of lift your waistline so you have a little space under here. You don't wanna flex the spine. Really try to get that spine neutral and long. You're gonna lift your top leg and only lift it as high as you can keep it parallel so it doesn't turn out. So your body is everyone's gonna be different. If I go too high, see how I turned out a little bit? My knee is now facing the ceiling. I want my knee to face forward, all right? And I don't wanna flex my spine. So as long as I can keep long and parallel. Now, you want your bottom leg to be either bent for stable or straight, whatever you want. Top leg reaches longer than that bottom leg. Flex through the heel. So push that heel and lower it down. Keep reaching it, keep reaching it, and then point it up, okay? So here we go, keep moving. Your abs stay tight to stabilize that pelvis. And you want to keep reaching that leg longer than the bottom leg. And then from the waistline out of the head goes in opposition. Front arm just resting to help you. All right, 4 more. You're doing a total of 10 of these. 3, 2, 1. And then lift it up and then circle it without letting your body move. 5, 4. Keep reaching it longer than the bottom leg. It's hard to do because you can't see the leg, but really try to stay stable. And then circle the other way for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Before we go to the other side, I want you to sit on that hip that you just were on, and you're going to cross your feet like so. Your arm that you're resting on should be lined up with your hip, okay? And you want to really stabilize this shoulder, okay? Because we're going to actually come up on it. So I want you to stabilize the shoulder with your back muscles. And what we're going to do is we're going to keep this bottom knee down, and you're just going to come on up into a side bend. So what you want to try to do is push your hips forward. If they're back, notice how your hips are flexed. So you want to push them forward and side stretch your body over. Okay, and then lower it on down. So I have to adjust my hand a little bit. You're probably going to have to do some adjusting. Come on up and flex it over. So this is our lateral flexion, and come on up. Now if you'd like to, you can actually come up with both feet, so you just want to stretch them out a little bit longer. And you can come on up and side bend it over, and then lower it down. Don't go up to that though if you have shoulder issues, if it's feeling painful, if you don't have the strength for it yet. Really stay in between 2 panes of glass, and then come on up. And then 1 more. Good. And then lower it down. Good job, guys. Other side. Okay, so lining yourself up with the back of your mat, hugging on. And then really getting your body as long as possible. Stack up those hips. Reach that top leg as long as possible. Engage those hip bones, pull them towards each other. And then lift up as high as you can without rotating open. So just stay here and really feel that hip bone warming up, or the hip joint. You're going to flex the foot, and you're going to reach it as far along as you can, and then point it up. If you can see the wall on that side, really try to reach your foot towards that wall. And then your waistline up out of your head reaches in opposition. So each exercise in Pilates is used to sort of build on the other. All right, so then by the time a full class is over, you've done a lot of reps of sort of each body part. And what's really cool is, yes, you're working that top hip, but everything else should be active to keep you stabilized and in alignment. So you're doing a total of 10 of these. That hip should be warmed up. Really elongate it. 2 more. And if you need to bend that bottom leg, go ahead and then circle it. Really trying to stabilize your body. Don't let it move, especially that upper body and hips. 3. Get that press back as well. That's hard. And breathe. Circulate the blood. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good job. All right, so now we're gonna come up into that side bending. So here we go. Line up your hand, kind of thigh to that hand. I'm gonna keep the knee down for that first one. One side is definitely easier than the other. Now just look at yourself, make sure your hips are stacked, your hands lined up, and then lower down. Up and over. You also want to get that flex up and over. So drop your head. Allow yourself to really flex the spine. All right, I'm going to go up on those feet now. So if you'd like to do that, go ahead. Don't have to. And stabilize that shoulder with the back muscles. You cannot rely just on your shoulder muscles. You need to use the back. Flex it up. Pull the waistline up towards the ceiling. Pull the pelvis up to the ceiling. And lower down. So that's what initiates it. That lift of the pelvis. So lift from there first. So stabilize the back, stabilize the shoulder, and then lift the pelvis. And then lower it on down. Good job. Okay, so now what I want you to do is go to all fours. Take your hands right underneath your shoulders. Bring your hips right underneath, or your knees right under your hips. Get that back nice and flat. Do a little cat stretch first just to kind of release it. And remember, you don't shift your weight forward or back. Keep it nice and centered. Open into a little extension. Should feel good. One more time, articulate from that low back. And then articulate it back. All right, so from here, all I want you to do is lift your knees about 1 inch or 2 and really keep your spine stable and neutral. Hold it for 5, 4. Feel your shoulders pull down. Feel your belly pull in. And then drop it down. Now we're going to pull those knees a little further away from you. We're going to do the same thing. And lift it up. Hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower it down. Now I want you to take one foot back. Hold it. And then come on up. 5, 4, 3. Now stay here, guys. Stay up and just reach your other leg. And keep it 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop your knees down. See if you can keep your toes down. If that's too much on your knees, you can lift them up. But we're going to give 3 perfect push-ups here. So your elbows are going to turn into your sides. You're going to keep them close to your sides as you go down, chest to the floor, and then push it up without changing anything in your spine. Go down, stabilize your whole body. Your whole body should be active. Push it up. Notice if anything pushes as you come up. Really use your belly, use your core, use your back, and push it on back. Get your arms down by your sides. Let's widen your knees, and then just let your belly go in between your legs. Relax it here. Take a nice deep inhale, and exhale. And then just roll it on up. Good job. Let's give ourselves a little hamstring stretch. So reaching your legs forward, reaching your arms up, just stretch it on forward. Relax your head down. And then roll it on up. Good job, guys. The 3 videos are now complete. So your Intro to Pilates series is over. And hopefully you learned something new. And feel free to kind of go back to these videos whenever you need a refresher, or if you just want to really hone in on those skills and keep watching them until you feel comfortable. All right, and remember, this is a practice. You want to just continue to take those little baby steps every day and get stronger. You want to really build from the inside out, because once you do that, your other movement, your other workouts, everything will become more efficient, and you're going to prevent injury.
Okay, so thanks so much for watching this series. I appreciate you joining me. And if you're ever interested in seeing anything else, I have plenty of programs. Just head over to GretchenMcCarthy.com. And I look forward to seeing you again. Okay, take care.